subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and give it a thumbs up. There's a new story every week.
Capybara Chronicles Sea Adventures. Story 2, The Starfish, Captain. The sails of the ship, soaked in light, seemed to absorb the energy of the sun's rays. The magical crystal on the helm shimmered softly, while the ship sailed down the river, with such confidence, as if he knew the way better than any captain. Captain. The Capybara family was exploring the deck, marveling at its uniqueness. "I still can't believe we're on this ship," Bob mumbled, looking at the crystal. "It seems alive." "Because it is alive," Tiko exclaimed joyfully, running around the mast.
"Did you hear how he talks to us?"
"It's a real wizard ship. I think it's something more than just magic." Dad Copy said, touching the carvings. "This ship has its own story. We must understand."
This ship has its own story. We need to understand it.
"But who is its captain then?" Lina asked, gazing at the horizon.
If the ship is alive, maybe it doesn't need a captain at all. As if in response to her words.
The crystal suddenly shone brighter, and the air filled with a soft melodic sound, reminiscent of the whisper of waves and wind. A figure appeared on the deck, as if woven from light. It slowly took shape, and before the Capybaras stood a tall sailor with a thick beard, in a naval uniform, and his eyes sparkled like bottles, as if the endless sea was reflected in them. "Welcome, dear travelers," he said, bowing slightly.
"I'm captain of this ship. My name is Captain of the Sea Star." The Capybaras froze.
Looking at the mysterious stranger, Lina was the first to break the silence.
"Are you real? I'm a spirit here, but real."
"Or are you part of the magic of this ship?" "I am a spirit with this ship," the captain replied. "But that doesn't make me any less real. I guard everyone who steps onto my deck."
"But that doesn't make me any less real. I carefully watch everyone who steps on my deck."
He looked at the Capybaras. "I like you." "Really?" Tika said, bouncing up to the cap.
"I like you."
"Really?" Tika exclaimed, bouncing up to the captain.
"Can we be your team?"
"We're cool, aren't we? Being a team, it's not just adventures."
The little Capybara said softly, as the captain knelt down to be at Tika's level.
"It's responsibility, courage, unity."
"Are you ready for this?" "Of course, we are," Tika said confidently, but the other Capybaras looked at each other. "Why need us? If you steer alone, why need a crew?" Bob asked. "If you can steer the ship by yourself, why do you need a crew?" The captain straightened up thoughtfully. His gaze became more serious.
"This ship is not just a means of transportation. He is part of a great mission. The magic of the sea, like the magic of your forest, is under threat. And I literally can't handle this alone."
"I need you." "Why us?" Lina asked. "We're just capybaras." "Not just capybaras." The captain shook his head.
"You have qualities that I lack." The captain looked around the deck. "Each of you has a gift that will help save the ocean. And this is your journey, an opportunity to discover those gifts." The captain looked around the deck. It was as if they were surfacing, recalling something distant.
As if surfacing, recalling something distant.
"Once, this ship was part of the Great Fleet. We defended the seas from the darkness that sought to consume all living things. But one day, the enemy turned out to be stronger. Our forces were destroyed. And
He fell silent for a moment.
I became part of the ship to continue the fight. That's sad."
"Quiet," said Alina.
"It's not sad.
"But it is necessary," replied the captain.
Now I exist to help those who are capable of continuing our mission. I have seen many who have tried to board this ship, but only a few were ready."
"And do you think we are ready?" Bob asked doubtfully.
"Your readiness depends on yourselves," the captain replied. "This ship tests those who step on board. The trials that await you will show Will you be able to become a true crew?
Trials.
The eyes of the tick lit up.
I love challenges.
It's not just a game, little captain, the captain said with a smile. Your first trial will just begin right now.
The sails fluttered as the wind picked up, the ship swayed. As the sails of the ship trembled, the wind picked up. And the ship began to sway on the waves, even though the river remained calm. The crystal on the wrist flared up, and the captain's voice became stern.
To continue your journey, you must raise the sails. But keep in mind, each sail is raised only when you work together. When you work together, how does it work?
Bob asked, already reaching for the captain.
Each mast contains a mechanism that responds to your synchronicity.
The captain explained.
If even one of you loses focus, the sail will drop.
Sounds fun.
Tika shouted, already climbing up to the lower level of the mast. Lina and Bob rushed to the other ropes, while Papa Capi carefully examined the mechanism, trying to understand its logic.
We must pull at the same time.
He commanded,
On the count of 3. 1,
2! Pull! Tika exclaimed too soon, and the mechanism stopped with a crack. Lina sighed. Let's try again. Tika sighed. Lina.
Let's try again.
Well, now listen to Dad. After several attempts, the Capybaras learned to work together. Each sail raised by their efforts indeed sparkled brighter, and the ship became more stable. When the last sail was raised, the captain nodded approvingly.
Well done. You've indeed taken the first step to becoming a real team.
When the wind died down and the ship regained its balance, the captain turned to the Capybaras.
This is just the beginning. Many more challenges await you ahead. But I see potential in you, remember. I'm always here to help.
But most importantly, listen to each other. We can handle it, Tika exclaimed, jumping up and down. We'll do our best, Lina added with a smile. Then let's go to new horizons, the captain said, and his figure began to fade away, as if dissolving in the light of the crystal.
See you definitely at the next challenge.
The ship was once again filled with wind, and it began to move forward. The misty outlines of an unknown island appeared on the horizon again.
So team, are you ready for the next step?
Papa Capi asked. Always ready, the Capybaras replied in unison. And so their true sea odyssey began, where they not only sailed towards their goal but also learned to be a real team,